out live.
All right.
Okay, so like, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So no, oh, your buddy's here. So that's what it looks like. Oh, we got Brent. We've got
Brent
two
Dugas?
people. Oh yeah.
Brent's in the house.
Okay. Do we want to give it like another minute and see how many people get on and then introduce ourselves again? Okay,
Sure.
well, we actually just lost one. So now we have two.
He's gone.
And he's
I
gone.
said I'm out of here.
I don't know. No, Brent said hi.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay, well, that's fine.
So we're just waiting for all of our viewers and fans to log in and show up.
Yeah. This is bringing me back to when we were like 10 and we did this and it was embarrassing. Okay.
I've never done it before.
Andre, have you ever gone Instagram Live?
This past weekend when we introduced the raffle winners for my daughters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How did that go? Good?
It went good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Was it like
They
a
knocked
local
up.
person who won?
What's that? There was 3 people.
Who won the cow
I
tag?
had three different prizes.
Who won the cow tag? Like somebody.
Pauline.
Pauline?
Yeah.
Paulina? Nice. Okay.
Wonderful.
Well, we have 4 people, so we can go ahead and start. My name is Aria. I'm the executive assistant for LOH Outfitters and kind of run all the like guide client communication. Next.
Okay. My name's Rex Martinson. I'm the general manager for LOH Outfitters.
I'm Andre Gonzalez. I'm the lead guide / hunt advisor / person whose number is on the website. So when you reach out off the website, I am who you're talking to.
And collectively, we are the Trifecta.
Also known as the Three Musketeers.
I'll call it, AKA the 3 Musketeers.
AKA. Okay.
Yeah. We've got a lot of names for each other.
Don't you know it? Okay, so basically, we just wanted to get on Instagram Live because we thought it was going to be a good way to, A, talk to our clients that are coming out this fall, 2, just talk to regular followers and anybody who's interested in LOH, 3, have our guides harass us. Brent, you're doing a really great job. Where's Jim? But also, we threw up some Instagram stories and, like, you could answer questions. So we have a few of those. So we're just kind of going to go through some topics. And if people come and go, you can ask questions. So feel free to do any of that. We also only have 3 people still. First one, Andre, you can do this one. Do you want to do like a basic, like if we're looking at August through say March, what would like that time frame be for each like month, whether it's species, guns, you know what I'm talking about, or
August through March. That's a lot.
well, you can just go through the whole year. Like, what does a year look like in New Mexico for?
Yeah,
like the hunting season.
Okay, so technically, you know, obviously we do some turkey stuff. But we really starting to get busy in August with our archery pronghorn. And then we'll roll into our first rifle pronghorn season. You know, I was out today. Here we are in June. We were out this morning hanging cameras and it was hot. And it's only going to get hotter. So, you know, in August, it's typically pretty warm. And we'll have some monsoons. But, yeah, August is hot. It's a 3-day pronghorn season. Pretty target rich. So it's a good kickoff to, you know, elk, which is obviously, you know, the mecca of what we do. That'll start in September 1st. Archery elk, in my opinion, is the only way to hunt elk is with a stick and string. So, we'll go from September 1st through the 24th, 2 seasons, September 1 through 14, and then 15 through the 24th. Run and gun, long days. September's a grind. It comes and goes just like that. I wish it was, September every month that we were out there. I wish it was.
I thought you were going to say you wish it was September already. It's like, whoa.
I do.
Not yet.
I do wish it was September already. And then October starts our muzzleloader / rifle seasons. We get our butts kicked all September. And then the gun hunts come around and we kind of get to redeem ourselves and have a little bit of vendetta for some of these bulls who slipped us throughout September, and we kind of start stacking them up. Early November, we'll do rifle mule deer hunts. So we'll kind of change gears a little bit, chase a little bit of a different critter in a little bit different country. That's early November. And then if I had to choose a favorite gun hunt, it would be the late season bull hunt. And that hunt usually runs the week before, it ends the day before Thanksgiving. And if I had to choose a gun hunt, it would be that hunt. That's our last opportunity, to kill some of these bulls. They're bachelor'd up. They're in their wintering grounds. So it's fun. It's a lot of glassing, and, you're targeting groups of bulls rather than a group of cows with, 1 or 2 bulls in it. So that's a fun one. Like I said, that pretty much wraps up our bull elk season. And then in December, we'll go into, our cow elk hunts, and we'll start shifting our gears towards barberry sheep. And then January comes around, we've got archery mule deer, archery barberry sheep, and then it goes back into the gun stuff for the aoudad barberry sheep. Mm-hmm. We usually round out our season about middle of February. That's when the last couple of, barberry sheep hunts. And then throughout this whole time, though, all those months, we sprinkle in a little bit of oryx, which is one of my favorite species to chase. Month-long seasons, they're a lot of fun. So we'll sprinkle those in the mix here and there as well.
Yeah. And then, for us, at least, like on an admin side, January, February is going to be show season. So we go to Dallas, Nashville, Portland, Pennsylvania, good old Harrisburg, my neighbor. And I think we used to go to Atlanta. That's about it for that.
Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
Yep. We can do that. Oh, we did that, actually. You were there.
Good.
And then March is when the New Mexico big game draw plays a factor. And then results come out, and then it's time to get clients what they're doing for the whole time for the fall. We have a comment. Okay.
So it comes in circle.
Mountain Man wants a Barbary sheep hunt with us. So we have clearly Barbary sheep through the draw process. A lot of what we draw, I would say, is archery, which is that January 1st to the 15th. And then there's the one hunt in February, the 29-30 unit. But other than that, we do have a ranch in Texas that's almost a guaranteed, it's a guaranteed tag, plus the harvest rate is about a 98+%. So if you're interested in that, kind of way to skip around the New Mexico process would just be clearly to go to Texas, and it's all fair chase. They just have very big quantity and quality of Barbary sheep. To answer that question.
Yeah, that Texas place is legit.
Yeah. And then, what was I saying? Oh, and then clearly, everybody comes out in the fall, and then they leave, and then, circle it around again. What about the over-the-counter in New Mexico? We don't really promote, I would say, over-the-counter. A lot of our guides, they kind of grab an over-the-counter Barbary hunt and just go out and hunt hard, just because sometimes they're crazy. It's just really hard, and you have to be, I would say, in very good shape. And a lot of our hunters, they don't have time to waste, I guess you could say, on hunting. It's not waste on hunting, but it's definitely a very hard hunt. And it's not like a 5-day, because usually like our archery season, those we can get done, I'd say in a short amount of time. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we're still talking about the Barbary sheep, right? We're addressing that first question.
Over the counter. Over the counter.
Yeah, and Andre, you can jump in here a little bit. The over-the-counter tags are in areas where there are less dense populations of Barbary sheep. They can be successful if you know the country, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Most, if not all, of our Barbary sheep hunts are put on through the draw. And if you're familiar with New Mexico's draw system, it can be difficult to draw those tags, but that's primarily how we outfit Barbary sheep hunters, is through the draw or through the Texas private ranch hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I think the over-the-counter stuff is definitely more of it's a difficult hunt, you know, and it's not a matter of finding sheep, it's a matter of finding quality sheep. You know, it's tough to find, you know, a good quality ram on the over-the-counter units. It can be tough to find a quality ram in the draw units, especially later on in the season. So, I mean, we could do over-the-counter, you know, Barbary sheep hunts. We don't promote them a whole lot just because of, you know, we know how tough it is to kill a quality ram over the counter in 5 days. I'm not saying it can't be done. You know, I know I've never killed an over the counter ram, but I know a bunch of people who go out there and they can consistently get it done. But that's kind of just where we're at. The majority of our stuff is through the New Mexico draw and then Texas.
So Mr. Hurley, which is somebody who's coming out with us in the fall, just asked, or he said, I have a Power Bell arrow tip, copper, 50 cal, 295 grain, or is Hornady a better pick, similar size and caliber? Recommendations, please. So,
say that again?
I have a Power Bell arrow tip, copper, 50 cal, 295 grain, or is Hornady a better pick, similar size and caliber, or recommendations, please?
So we use the Power Belt arrow tips in a 45 cal. That's what we're shooting out of our Best of the West, and we've never had any huge issues with them. I can't say anything about the Hornady, just because I don't have any experience with them. But I will say that the Power Belt has done well with us out of our guns.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to what shoots best out of your gun and what you're comfortable with whenever you're on the range. You know, what shoots best, what loads best. Do they reload easy after, let's say, you take 2 or 3 shots and your barrel's starting to get fouled a little bit? You know, consider those things, you know, reloading capability, consistency on the range between the different rounds. And like Andre said, those power belts pretty much exclusively what we use. But again, it kind of comes down to what shoots best out of your gun, what you're comfortable with, and what you're getting the best grouping with.
Yeah.
The range.
I would definitely say shoot them both and let your gun decide. Whatever it's shooting better, that's what you need to bring out.
He followed up with, have you tried the Power Bell ELR slender and flatter?
No, we have not.
Okay. Sorry, getting my hair clipped back together. My phone mount. I had like a little phone stand and I was like, I don't need this, I'm throwing it out. And then it would have been useful today. Okay. Jim, if you have more questions on that, you can always text Andre too, or keep commenting and we can keep talking about it. Thanks, is what he said. So next we were kind of going to talk about like the roles of the spotter, the guide, and then the client. So I don't know exactly what you guys wanted to talk about that with, but you guys can go ahead on that.
Yeah, I'll break this one open a little bit and then let Andre kick in. So what Ari is talking about is each client will have a guide, obviously. We do have other guides that they're registered guides. They've done some guiding, or maybe they're just new. And so we vet everybody before we turn them loose with a client. So some of our contracted people who come work for us, guides and spotters, the spotter is basically somebody who, while the guide and the client are out looking for elk, the spotter's also looking for elk, maybe a couple canyons over, a different area. The spotter's job, we call it a spotter packer. So if the spotter walks a guide and a client into a nice elk, they shoot it, that spotter then becomes packer. And they'll go help break down the elk. They'll help, pack it out and that sort of thing. So we encourage, and I think it's a great idea, to buy a spotter prior to your hunt. That way it guarantees that spotter is with you and your guide for the entire 5-day hunt. And they will be specifically with you. They won't be helping any other clients throughout that hunt. They're dedicated to you. And it's just a great way to increase your odds. That spotter guide relationship is going to be invaluable. You've got extra eyes looking for the elk. If a spotter finds one, we got pretty decent cell service in most of the areas we hunt in.
And they have inReaches and walkie-talkies.
Yeah, we use radios. It's legal in New Mexico to communicate with radios. So that spotter's going to have eyes on that elk, and he's going to walk you right to it. And it's very effective. It's honestly worth the cost to put that in to your hunt package. The other spotters we just call floating spotters. They're just out looking for elk. They're going to call whoever's closest. It may be you, it may be somebody else. It just kind of depends. Or they may get back that evening and say, hey, I found a group of elk over here who needs to go after them. So they're out there working all the time, but to have one assigned to you specifically is definitely the best way to go.
I would add, if you're doing a 2-on-1 hunt, which means 2 hunters with 1 guide, we usually notice this in like best friends, fathers, sons, stuff like that. If you add on a spotter, then yes, you're having your 1 guide, but you also have like all the things you just said. But also if you get 1 down, clearly, that's a shared experience. You want to stay together, take some photos, do the whole harvesting thing together. But after that, your spotter, your packer can start hauling out. They can take you back to camp, and you and your guide can go off and still spend, a majority of the day. Because if you say you kill at 10 a.m., sometimes you're not as lucky with a 200 feet pack out. You got to do a lot of stuff, and it's taking the rest of the day, where your spotter can still give you that, or give you a ride home, so your guide can take the other half of that out and continue the rest of the day. We have a comment. Back to Audad. For archery inquiry, do I just reach out to on your website? Last question. Yeah. Andre, 575
315-6107.
So you can contact Andre, and we can get you set up for that. We'd apply you in the draw basically once March comes around, but we can do all of like the contracts and stuff before then. So Mountain Man, you can either go to our website, it's Andre's number on there, or send an email. I'll still have Andre call you. So guide, clearly, like we said, they're either with 1 client or 2 clients. they might be somebody who's been with us for years, or somebody who's been, working in other areas of the state, or maybe they're new to New Mexico. Typically, then they start as a spotter packer. You could be 65 plus, and if you've never touched foot on LOH property, you're starting as a spotter and a packer, because we just want to make sure that we're giving our clients the best people possible. I think when I had wrote that down earlier, it was like specific to, like, we were talking about calling and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys want to like dwell on that anymore, if you guys want to move on.
Yeah, I think before we move off, we spent quite a bit of time on the spotter's role, but we didn't really get into, what the expectations of the guide are, and then how the guide and the client interact. And Andre, if you want to kind of speak to that a little bit and kind of let folks know what like your role would be with a client, and then what you expect out of the client as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as a guide, I kind of find myself expecting to be the leader in this. So if I have a client, I want to work as a team. But obviously, if you're booking an outfitted elk hunt, you're coming out here to be guided on a successful hunt. So what I tell the guys is like, hey, you lead the charge. I get it. Like, a lot of times we'll have clients in camp who have elk hunting experience and they've killed X amount of elk and they know how to call. But at the end of the day, you're running this hunt. You know how to put your guy in the best scenario to be successful. Work as a team. If you have to drop back and call. Just understand that, you're handling the outcome of the hunt is going to be based on how you perform, whether it be successful or unsuccessful. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to how, you treated the hunt. That being said, if you do have a spotter, it makes things easier as a guide. You can have someone up high in your ear the whole time, walking you in or finding another game while you're out putting a stalk on something, but that's your team, whether it be you and the client, or you, the client and the spotter. Like, that's your team and you're the captain. So you lead the charge and just work as a team to get it done, basically.
What do you expect out of the client through all of this? And there's some that are going to be first-time elk hunters. There's some that are going to be experienced elk hunters. And maybe if you think of some things like do's and don'ts for a client that you could speak to.
Sure. The biggest thing is just, come into camp with an open mindset. Understand that you're hunting wild animals on public ground 90% of the time. You're hunting them in their house, and they know every bedroom, every window, every closet in it. And just be patient. As a guide, we're out in the field. Like I said earlier, it's June 24th and we're out scouting. We're finding where these elk are at and starting to pick up what they're doing. That's the biggest thing, come into camp with an open mindset and come prepared physically. Try to work out and, come into camp in the best physical shape as you can. Because I promise you're going to think you're coming into camp in great shape. Mm-hmm. And the altitude here alone will prove that you are still behind the 8 ball compared to these elk. It's hard to train for altitude. I get it. Just come in with, get ready to grind it out. I mean, killing an elk in whether it be 5 days or 6 days is tough, especially on public ground. You're hunting with public land hunters, and just be patient and soak it all in. It's getting a kill is obviously the main objective, but that's not necessarily what the whole story is about. The kill is literally 20 seconds of a 5-day adventure. So just enjoy the whole thing, you know, the highs and the lows, the frustrating parts, just kind of soak it all in and enjoy the whole process.
Yeah, I agree. You know, just kind of like Andre said, you know, we've got pretty high success rates, especially with muzzleloader and rifle, decent success rates with archery, but just realize we're not 100% kill on anything, very few things.
And if it was, it isn't hunting.
Yeah. So just understand that, you know, when you come into camp, yes, you've paid the money, you've paid for a guided hunt, that you may go home empty-handed, but hopefully the overall experience was worth it.
And I would say, like, to add on to that, like, clearly we want, you know, like you said, your hunt to be successful, but also an experience where if you have questions about things, say this is your first time hunting, why are we doing this? If we go this way, how is that better than that way? Or just any single thing, ask, and our guides will tell you. And I think, you know, for our guides, they do this every single day for months on end, and they might get a little frustrated, maybe, but they don't realize that this is what they do for a job, and this is somebody who's coming out, and it's 5 days of their life, and it's something maybe they worked up their entire life for, or maybe it's something they do every single year is just to get out from work, but just to take it all in, and I don't know, like you said, just experience what you're doing, and it's not just a harvest, it's more than that.
Aria, is whether you're experienced or you're a first-time elk hunter, communicate with your guide.
Yes.
Ask questions. Make sure y'all are on the same page. If you don't understand why you're not going down this ridge versus that ridge, ask them. Could be wind direction. Could be the guide knows that ridge over there falls off into a canyon that you can't traverse, so you've got to go this way. There's a lot of factors, but don't be afraid to ask. You know, go ahead and communicate. Our guides are knowledgeable and personable, and they want to talk to you. They want to build a relationship with you during that 5-day hunt. So definitely reach out. Typically, myself or Aria or Andre will be in those camps. So if you have a concern or a question, at the end of the day, look me up, look up Aria, find Andre and say, hey, I've got a concern and here's what it is. And we'll address that immediately, through, you know, no matter if it's day 1 or day 5, we're going to try to do what we can to accommodate any questions or concerns you have.
Yeah. If we don't know, we can't fix it. So, and I like to fix things. Okay. Unless anybody has any questions, I think we're just going to move on to like our little list. Okay, the next one was kind of gear recommendations. This, if you're hunting with us in the fall, I should, and if I haven't, please let me know, sent you a packing list. That's really basic. If you've ever gone on a hunting trip, it's very similar to everything you need. And then also a welcome packet that has different recommendations. So for boots, I would say something with a really great ankle support. Not those, but we recommend Kenetrack, Schnees, Crispies, any type of boot that fits for you. But one thing as a New Yorker, you might, like, we would get insulated boots, where in New Mexico you want non-insulated boots for the majority of what we're doing. Is that correct? So just great ankle support. I guess that's all I've really got to say on boots. But it has discount codes for that. We're a Kenetrack dealer, so we get free shipping, I think, and no tax on those for you guys. And then Kuiu, we wear a lot of Kuiu. We just like it. All of our guides like it. They've invested a lot of money in it. It's just a good layering system. So in New Mexico, I don't know if we already talked about this, but like Andre said, it does get really hot in August and September. Even in October, you can still get burnt in December and March. But basically, in the mornings, it's cold. You're on top of ridges, on mountains, you're cold. And then you're going to want to take it off once the sun's starting to come out. You're hiking up the mountains, your body's, starting to pump. All those things. So KU offers a really good layering system. Any type of camo will work. It does not matter. Also, New Mexico, you do not need orange on public land or private land. The only places I think you do are like the missile ranges and stuff. So it's not a factor in what you do. Comment, break in your boots before hunting. Yes. Also, try on your boots before you leave. If you've had your boots for 15 years or 5 years or 2 years, make sure that they're not going to fall apart on you, because we've had that happen. That poor guy. Do you guys remember when he walked home in his socks? Yeah. That was so bad. I don't remember who that was, but that was really
make
bad.
Sure if you buy new boots, make sure that you wear them around quite a little bit. Yeah. Some of those, even the quote good boots like Trifecta Crispy, there's a break-in period for those. I bought a new pair this year, and it took a while to get them broke in where they're comfortable and fitting your foot right, and you kind of figure out how to lace them up and that sort of thing. So don't take them out of the box when you show up at camp. That would be no bueno.
Yeah, honestly, if you buy a pair of boots and you put them on and you feel like you don't need to break them in, or they fit your foot good, or a lot of times when you come out here and you're doing a mountain hunt, you're gonna feel it. You should. When you first buy a quality pair of boots, they should be somewhat uncomfortable for the first few times until they start forming to your foot. And that just goes with, good leather. Anything you buy that's quality leather, it takes a little while to break in and form around whatever it's fitting on.
Packs. We talked about this in a video that's going to be posted on our social media here soon once I finish editing. But something, if you're a hunter, you have your guide, and then we have our spotters and then our packers. So usually when elk's down, we send as many people as we can in to make your life so much more easier. But as a hunter, having a backpack that has meat hauling capabilities is definitely something that you should be bringing with you. Just enough for a bag or a hind, basically, right? Is that the majority?
Yeah, if you want to participate in the pack out process.
Yeah, and if you can, but
definitely bring something out that you can haul meat in.
Yeah.
A regular day pack is not going to be enough you're going to be miserable packing out a hind quarter or front quarter in a backpack. Mm-hmm. You need something with some type of frame system that can, hold good weight.
Yeah.
If you're not planning on packing out meat, then just a normal day pack will work.
Let's see. Knives. Oh gosh, no, not my. Why does this move? Oh, it's bad. I'm still moving. Okay.
I don't think you're
knives. Majority guide is gonna take over. They're just gonna, start harvesting that puppy up. But if you want to be active in that process, usually the guides have what you need in the field. It's not necessary that you bring like any of that. But if you're wanting to help and learn, clearly tell your guide, because our guides they'll just start cutting in, doing what they need to do, because it's just in the back of their brain, in their nature. But if you want to participate, tell them. That's a great conversation to have before you get in the field too. What you want to be learning and included in. Binos, do you guys want to talk, Andre or Rex, about what a guide's using versus what a client should be using or have?
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, I'll take over, Rex. Sorry. I think, I carry a pair of 10x42s with rangefinders in them on my chest. And I'll carry a pair of 15x56s in my pack. Sometimes I'll bring my spotting scope, sometimes I won't. As a hunter, as a client, you're gonna want to do some glassing. I would recommend at least a pair of 10 power binos. If you can do 12, or if you have a pair of 15s, even better, bring a tripod. We run Zeiss And Swarovski, do you need a pair of Swarovskis? No. But something that you can look through comfortably for hours on end without getting eye fatigued. I mean, you're out there for, 14 hours a day, and you're going to be looking through those glasses for a long duration of time, and you don't want your eyes to get tired. So something that your eyes are comfortable with. I'm not going to hound you, if you bring a pair of red fields out or something like that, but just something that is going to be okay with your eyes looking through them all day long.
I would add to make sure you have a bino harness. You don't want to be digging in your pack every time you want to spot something, and it also makes it easier to carry. It kind of balances out your weight a little bit better. So make sure you have a good bino harness that fits your binoculars and is easy to get on and off. It's something you can throw your pack over the top of. It just makes your experience a whole lot better.
Nice. Okay. I don't know. What do you guys want to hear? I mean, we can. Sorry. We can keep talking about whatever we want to talk about, but if you guys have specific questions.
How many people you got on?
6. You pack out food all day. So yeah, so basically day in the life at LOH camp. It depends on what, season you're in, September. It's darker longer, right? No.
Light longer.
It's light longer. You're going to head out. You're going to wake up around 4 to 5, a little bit earlier than that, depending on when. Head out with your guide. Basically, almost everything we can do is accessible by vehicle. So you're going to go in your spot. You want to get there before anybody else gets there. So if you got to wake up an hour early, that's what you're going to do. You're going to pack like you're going out all day, because that's what you really should be doing unless you want to come back in. But I like to say elk aren't going down if you're not there. So, but basically our chefs make little sandwiches for you guys. We have a whole snack bar depending on where you are. If you come back in, usually we have another hot option, but pack out like you're going to stay out there all day, because you might be so far in when you harvest an elk that it's going to take you all day to get back. So you want as many snacks and water as you possibly can bring. And you don't have to put it all in your day pack, but also just in the trucks. The guides all have Yeti coolers that they have waters and stuff in, Gatorade, stuff like that. And then by the time you come back in for dinner, it's dark, and then you're going to bed. No partying, go to bed. Strict program. Tanner, we are going to the DSC. Well, these 2 lucky guys are going to the DSC summer show. Not me. Double thumbs up. Yep, Saul said extra pair of socks. Rex actually just talked about that in our video. Extra pair of socks make you feel like a new man. Quote. But yeah, that even, I would want like a different layering shirt if I'm getting hot and sweaty. Don't want to stay in that all day.
We ain't scared of no extra sweat around here. So I think, wow, okay, tough crowd. I think one of the things that, probably the main thing you need to throw in your pack, besides an extra pair of socks, is water.
Yes.
Just make sure you stay hydrated and have plenty of water. You don't want to run out. I don't want to throw this secret out there, but I will. Your guide will throw in a little extra water in case you do run out, but don't count on it. Make sure you have your own water.
Also being hydrated. Like, I am one that doesn't drink that much water, and I go from sea level flying all day to get out there, and then if we do go out in the mountains at night or something, my hydration level is at an all-time 0, and I'm not good with that. But for hunters, you're not used to being that physical every single day. Altitude change, overall travel time, you're tired, your body's tired, your emotions, I would say, are high and low. Oh my gosh, why am I not seeing anything? I'm doing all of this. Oh my God, we saw something. Is this going to be it? Are we in? Oh my gosh, I missed a shot, or I hit him. So making sure that your diet and hydration is changed before you leave. for camp is definitely a priority. We have, what kind of accuracy do you expect from your hunter for shots, I'm assuming?
Super accurate.
In terms of, well, yeah, I mean,
I don't really know. I'm assuming that's what he meant.
I guess obviously it depends on weapon, but, you know, a kill zone on elk is pretty big, 12 to 16 inches. So if you can put it in a pie plate at 60, the bow, you're good. Mm-hmm. If you're hitting a pie plate at, 150 to 250 yards with an open sight muzzleloader, you're good. And then with the rifle, I mean, you should be able to put it in a pie plate at 400 yards consistently.
Yeah.
So.
Jim asked, Hurley, not Jim Brennan, should we bring a pack of water for personal use, or is bottled water available at camp? Bottled water is available at camp, and then we're also looking into getting, how do you describe these things?
Water dispenser that you see at the airports.
Yeah, where you can just fill up your bottles and then head out. So whether you have a little hydration bladder, I think that's what they're called, or just a regular water bottle, our water is good to drink. I guess, is that a good statement?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring out, an Nalgene or two.
Yeah. Bottled
waters are noisy, especially when you start drinking out of them. They get noisy, and it's better just to have an Nalgene and have it filled. Put some bottled waters in your pack and just make sure it's filled up, so it's not so loud whenever you're getting close.
What's your recommendation? I do get asked this a fair amount. Should people bring hiking poles on the trip?
Yeah, I typically don't use them, but there has been times where I'm on a long pack out and I wish I had a set of trekking poles. So yeah, I mean, they just, they work as an extra set of legs. Yeah. So 4 is better than 2.
I feel like
I like them. They can be a little noisy at times, so you want to keep that in mind. They've got to be easy to break down and stick in your pack. Especially if you're making a stop, you definitely want to put them away. But on a pack out, or if you're like going from A to B and you're just going to cover some ground, trekking poles are pretty handy.
I would say one thing that I noticed on the few packouts that I've been on, for some, like, clearly the client wants to pack out their head. They want to pack out their trophy. That's a lot of weight on somebody's back that normally you have not practiced for at all. I would say that the trekking poles help angle your body and not kill you as much. Is that valid?
It's good for balance. I like them for balance and preventing falls. It's saved my ass several times from eating rocks. So
that's another place a good pair of firm boots come in to just give you that extra support when you have, that extra 60 pounds or whatever it is on your back. Your boots will help you out.
And each unit, is different. A lot of what we do is in units 12, 13, 36, the 16s, but, 17. I don't know how I forgot that. But it's also different. And say unit 13 is such a huge unit that you could look to your left and it's some sort of terrain, and you're looking on your right and it's completely different. So like you said, just a boot that can do anything.
Yeah, it's extremely diverse for sure. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Any other questions? If not, we'll just pop back to something. We have 7 people right now.
Yay. So a lot of this, I already mentioned it, and I'll mention it again. We did one of these amongst the 3 of us. That's going to be posted probably by next week. And it's specific to archery season because that's like the first elk season. So a lot of what we've talked about here tonight is also going to be contained in the archery specific, whatever you want to call it, video.
We also
so make sure you tune into that as well.
I was going to add, we also have blogs on our website that are specific to certain categories and stuff like that. Sorry, excuse me. But if you guys, do have any questions, always feel free to text us. We're available 24/7.
I'm not. I sleep.
I sleep a little bit more than all of us. Okay. Do you guys want to talk about like processing and taxidermy? Is that a good topic?
Yeah, I think so. We get asked that a lot. There's a variety of options available. We do have some local processors that can process and ship meat. Obviously, if you're driving, bring extra coolers. There's some information online and I think on our website as well about how many coolers to bring for an elk. And then we do have a gentleman in camp who will kind of break your elk down into pieces, to pack your coolers and that sort of thing. So that there's several options for processing meat. We do use Wildlife Gallery, and you can keep your mount at camp, and then they send a truck, and we load it on their truck. They take it. Forget where that's at.
So their canning facility is in Texas, and then I don't really know, Michigan or Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure
I think it's Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah.
And they bring it up there, and then you work out with them. But that's a really great option. And then also there's some local taxidermists as well, and then a few of our guides actually are dabbling in Euro mounts. So if that's something, say you kill out the first day and you just want a Euro mount, they might be able to get it done before you head out. But multiple options. It also depends on what unit you're into. So like Unit 13 versus Unit 36, different processors, different local taxidermists, but also if you want to use, Wildlife Gallery, like Rex said, we do have a truck that comes every single month in the busy season that picks everything up for us. We had a question. Can you guys run through a typical day in archery, elk, styles of hunting, calling, etc.? Typical day, like we kind of said, you head out in the morning around 4:30, 5:30, plan to stay out all day, and then come back, around dinner time once it's dark out, and then have dinner. But within that day, I don't know, I guess first season, do you guys want to run through like the style of hunting the first season versus the second season? And like we said, we will have a video on this too. But
So for archery?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's early. Alarm rings at 3:30, 3:45. Quick breakfast, pack our bags, and we're going to be in the field well before sunup. Whether it be to, locate a bull that's bugling and try and get ahead of them, or, be at a spot before someone else, whatever it may be, it'll be early. Typically in the morning, you're chasing bugles, trying to get ahead of a herd, and just kind of cat and mouse them. Obviously trying to get into an opportunity where you can work a bull, call them into archery range. If that doesn't happen in the morning, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll kind of find where they're bedding, go to their bedding area, and just get close enough to that bedding area where we can be in striking distance. If they decide to get up mid-morning or, to rebed. A lot of times these elk will go to bed mid-morning, and then they'll get up, 10, 12 o'clock whenever the sun moves and they're not in the shade anymore. They'll get up, and if that bull gets up, he's going to check his cows. So we want to be in that proximity to where we can get into striking distance when he gets up. I'm never going to hunt a bedding area. That's, in my opinion, that's not really efficient. But we'll be close. Another thing is you can, if they come to drink midday, we'll sit water midday. So there's a gap there. There is going to be a lull between, your morning hunt and your evening hunt, where you'll be kind of just hanging out in the shade, acting like elk, laying around, not doing much. And then, you know, in the evenings, they're going to get up and they're going to start partying again. And we want to be in position to be able to make a move on them whenever they're up and moving around and getting ready to party. Early season, you know, if I've got a bull patterned on water where we know, you know, hey, every third evening, this bull is hitting this tank. So on that third evening, you're going to sit this water. That's only going to happen if it's something that we know is pretty consistent. I don't want to sit water without any evidence of a bull being there consistently. So, is there a chance you can sit? Yes. Is that my favorite style of killing a bull? No. Is that one of the most efficient ways of killing a bull? Yes. You know, they have to drink water, and if they're hitting the same water, you'll shoot one at water.
Yeah. There's a lot of different tactics that come into play during September. The first part, they're kind of in that pre-rut. Andre mentioned they're a little easier to pattern. They really haven't broke out of that summertime pattern just yet. They're not haremed up, so it's a great time to catch a herd bull just milling around. As the season progresses, you're going to be a little more active with calling, cow calls, bugles. You can throw out a locate bugle anytime, see if you get a response. As you fall into the second half of September and toward the end of September, you're getting closer to, you know, the full-time rut. It's going to be, you know, on a typical rut scenario, it's going to be a little more vocalizations from the elk. It may be a little more exciting as you hear those elk scream and give their location away. You're going to be moving around a lot, trying to intercept them, trying to get close. We're still going to implement spot and stalk. We're going to get up high. We're going to glass. Try to get between them and water, get between them and cows. So there's a lot of techniques that we're going to throw all the tools in the toolbox in September.
Nice. One of our clients is asking about any specific insights or recommendations on mule deer. Let me see. I forgot when his hunt is. Let me get you a specific. Oh, actually, shoot.
Okay. Like,
I don't know.
What was the question again? Like insights on mule deer hunting?
Mm-hmm. I can't remember. Mr. Clarity is the hunter. I don't remember when his hunt is.
What's his name? He's
Clarity. Chip Clarity.
Clarity. 31 rifle, maybe. Anyways, it's all going to be, regardless of which season, it's all going to be spot and stalk. You know, in my opinion, our best mule deer hunts are the January rut hunts, which is an archery hunt. You know, just because the bucks are out and about. You know, they're kind of love drunk, so it's kind of stuck on does. They kind of do some dumb stuff whenever they're chasing deer, does. So, but yeah.
His hunt, Andre, is that early November rifle.
Yeah,
7th or 11th.
Okay. Yeah. So it's gonna be, you know, spot and stalk. It's the same process. You know, you'll wake up early, you'll get to a glassing knob, and you'll do some long range glassing. Southeast corner of the state, you know, there's a pretty good concentration of deer down there. So, you know, there's a good potential that you can dig up pretty good quality. So just be ready to do a lot of long range glassing, sitting for hours and glassing. You know, these bucks, they do, especially early season, which that's not super early, but early in the rut, they're still pretty smart. So you're gonna have to find them, and they're gonna bed down, and you're gonna look for an ear flicker or an antler move, and it's not like they're just always gonna be standing out in the open. So it's gonna consist of a lot of glass and time behind the glass.
Be patient. you're going to, like Andre said, you're going to spend a lot of time looking for them. You're going to spend a lot of time behind glass, and you're going to feel like maybe you're wasting your time. But again, it comes down to trusting your guide to know what he's doing. It can be frustrating. Those are long days, looking for those guys. But when you find one, then it's game on. You try to make a play on it. So it's a game of patience, mental patience. It's a mental game. It's a physical game. So you got to be prepared to just be patient.
We can always come back to deer too. Mr. Hurley asked if he needs a packaging thingy or sealer. I guess it depends on if you're driving, if you're flying, what you're doing. If you don't want to use a processor, if you want to do everything yourself, depending on when you kill out too, we'll determine that. So I would say no, unless that's really nice.
Yeah. You don't need to bring any processing materials. We can send it back in quarters, or like Rex said, we have a gentleman in camp who can separate muscle groups. He can butcher it, and we have a couple of processing options for you. The guy in Magdalena, he's been there for a long time. He's done it for a long time. He actually does processing and taxidermy. He is probably my recommendation for anything based out of Magdalena or the west side of the state. We have a good relationship with him, and he's done pretty good for us.
And on the east side, east-south, whatevs, in 36, we have a guy who does like rush orders too, depending on when you kill out. So say you kill out on day 1 and you still have 4 days left, he can get that meat. Nothing like specialty cut and stuff like that, but some basic stuff for you to take home.
And all these guys can ship too.
Yes.
You can always get your meat shipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes longer of this.
Yeah, I feel like we've gone along pretty good.
So, any more questions?
We touched on glassing and how big a role it plays in our hunting style. There's a big difference between looking through your binoculars and actually glassing efficiently. And I think glassing was one of the things that we talked about, put on our list about.
Yeah.
To cover. So I think quality pair of glass. If you're going to do long days sitting, long range glassing, I think a pair of 15 by 56s on a tripod is pretty hard to beat. And there's a lot of different methods. I think a lot of guys use the gridding method, and it's literally exactly what it sounds like. You're glassing the side of the mountain. Just put an imaginary grid on that mountain, and you just cover it, right? So here's your grid. You're gonna cover, down, cover, just grid it back and forth. Once you have that section gridded, boom, you're on this section, and just take your time. A lot of times I'll sit for, a couple of hours, and I'll grid an area, and then I'll turn and grid an area to my west, and then I'll come back and grid again, and you'll be surprised at how much things have changed, and how, oh wow, there's an elk there, and I just spent 30 minutes glassing this area, and now there's an elk standing right there. So I think gridding and taking your time and actually glassing is huge. Some people may feel like we're wasting your time or something, and that's not the case. Like, if you're gonna find a bedded mule deer buck, you're not gonna do it by just scanning. Like, you're gonna have to pick it apart and look for the little things that don't fit in there.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Andre, and the grid and take your time is a great tactic. It takes time and discipline. I'm going to throw this out here. This is my personal way to go, but Andre may say that's not the way to go. But I do like to do a quick scan, like just look for anything that's obvious. I'll glass that whole mountainside just looking for something standing out in the open or something that's obvious to see. And then once I do that, if I don't find anything, then I'll go to a grid and I'll just start picking it apart like Andre does. If you find an elk, whether it's a cow or a bull, especially if it's a cow, then you hone in, because then pretty soon it's like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, hey, there's a bull. That looks like a bull. So once you find those elk, really dial in on that area and pick it apart, look under each tree. They're typically, they're going to be laying up in the shade. A lot of times they're tucked underneath those junipers and pinyon trees and pine trees. So you really got to be looking for pieces and parts, not the entire animal. So just take your time and look at everything. Like Andre said, you work an area for a couple hours, you work another area for 30, 40 minutes, you come back, the shade has moved. And sometimes it's like, shoot, man, I looked at that area, now I can see a rump, because it's exposed by the sun and they just haven't moved yet. So, always come back because you'll overlook them.
Yeah. And understand what the elk, like what their habits are during that time of day when you're glassing. Like if it's midday and the elk have already moved, you've already done your morning hunt and you're hunting midday, the elk are typically going to be on the north facing slopes and the thick vegetation in the shade. So, I don't want to say you're wasting your time by glassing south facing slopes, but the chances of you glassing up something bedded on a south facing slope midday are probably pretty slim, unless there's a thick pocket of trees where they just, kind of stashed out. But a lot of times north facing slopes, and thick timber during the midday is where you're going to find a lot of the game. And that being said, it's thick on the north facing slopes. That's why they're there. So that's where, being patient and really honing in and picking stuff apart and looking for stuff that doesn't fit, comes into play is something on, midday north facing slope. In the mornings, obviously they're moving to their bedding areas so they can be, walking up a ridge.
Oh no.
We lost Andre.
Rexy, you can take over.
Yeah, I think so. We covered glassing pretty good. I think Andre was just hitting some of the final details there, but I think to kind of get close to wrapping this up, I do want to say, if you're listening or you watch this later on, and you're interested in hunting with LOH in New Mexico, it's not too early to contact us about next year's draw. It's funny looking at Andre's face.
I know. I turned the camera. It's like...
Okay. It's not too early to start talking to us about next year's draw. Mm-hmm. The way to get a tag in New Mexico is through the draw. Obviously, we do have landowner tags, but they're more expensive. It's an added expense. So the best way is to get in the draw and get in with us, and we'll customize your draw application to make sure you have the best odds to draw. If you're hunting as a one-on-one, you're coming just by yourself, or you're coming as two guys on one application. There's a lot of different tactics that we use to increase odds. And if you want to hunt out here, contact us about getting in the draw, and we'll get you set up.
And it's not too late for this year if you're still wanting a hunt. This year we do have a lot of private land things available, and we do have a lot of unit-wide. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. I should say a few. We only have a few unit-wide things left. And we get, landowner tags for pronghorn and elk. So if you're looking for a guaranteed tag hunt, at least I guess you could say, those are the two species that we offer. We have a few more people Kevin! Hey! Okay. Brett, you're still here?
So like Aria said, we still have some guaranteed landowner tags available right now. A few unit-wide tags where you can hunt the entire unit. We do have 2 private ranches. One's 14,000 acres. One is 10,000 acres in Unit 15, and that is a muzzleloader only unit. But it's a great hunt, especially later. We can go all the way to the end of December on that ranch. So it's not too late to have a hunt this year. If you're still curious and interested, give us a call.
Yes. And we're going to wrap this up because I want to go to bed. If anybody does have any more questions, and if you guys liked this event, you can definitely let us know again and we can do it again. I feel like it was fun to connect with clients and have real time. I feel like for Mr. Hurley, I'm going to use it as an example, but that probably answered some of the questions he felt maybe he couldn't text us about or something. But if you have any questions, feel free to always contact us and engage with our stuff, and we can keep doing these type of things. But yeah, I guess watch out for some more videos, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
That's it. Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Thanks. Have a good night.
All right.
Bye. Oh, wait. I need to learn how to end it. Okay. And now.